Welcome, everyone. It is almost time to go back to school for many folks around the country. This is the Back to School Special from WV Sports Nation. I'm Jonathan Edwards, the editor-in-chief of WVSportsNation.com, and I'm joined by most of my writers and colleagues. It's almost time for athletics to come back. Just a few more days. We've even got some exhibitions and fall camp already underway. The official athletic calendar starts Thursday. In the meantime, we got plenty to talk about, but first I'm joined by Brendan Statler, Quinn Roby, Trent Connor, Mitch Rogers, Logan Powell. John Bogus may be joining us. We're always one short of getting the full panel in half the time. This is the second time we've done one of these. We did the Summer Special not too long ago. That seemed to be a little fun success, so we'll go ahead and get into it. But before we get into our main talking points, some news coming out of the WVU realm recently. Quinn just said Beanie Bishop, who was released from the New Orleans Saints, now signed with the Chicago Bears. That's big. Jordan Harrison's contract, she signed with the Portland Fire of the WNBA. That's a big moment for her. She had a great night last night coming in for an injured player. We'll talk about that here in a second. John Bogus covered on the website $111 million in philanthropy, which is simply insane. Almost triple the amount of what their best year was as an athletic department before then. So that's huge news. And for those who really hate Pitt, both soccer teams won exhibition matches. I know the scores don't count, but they've both posted on Twitter that we at least got the win in our hearts. So with that, of all those points, did want to talk about one for a minute. Trent, Jordan Harrison, a big moment last night and now getting rewarded with a contract.
Yeah, Jordan Harrison had a really big game last night. One of the young second-year guards for the Portland Fire, Carla Late, got injured and didn't play in the second half. Jordan Harrison started in her spot on a developmental contract. She played 28 minutes, scored 13 points, had 7 rebounds, which is crazy for how small Jordan is, and 6 assists. And I think something that should be pointed out is how rare it is for an undrafted player to log regular season minutes. It's just under 7% of undrafted players actually log regular season minutes. So it's extremely rare. And she earned a standard contract up from her developmental contract, which would have limited her to 12 games on the season. Part of this is because they have 2 young guards that are now injured, dealing with knee injuries. And one of their players actually left to go play for their national team because the FIBA World Cup is coming up. So she had some unfortunate breaks happen to her teammates, but another fortunate break for her as she signed a standard contract.
Yeah, a big moment again to do all that coming undrafted, let alone as a rookie. And we love Jordan, given everything she's done for WVU. She's been fun to follow and report on for our whole time as a website. So props to her, and it looks like the future is looking bright with that standard contract with the Portland Fire, the newest team in the WNBA for now. So we'll get into what we actually had scheduled now that we have the news out of the way. Mountaineer tailgate. Mitch, this is your high horse to ride on because we're bringing a tailgate pregame show to the airwaves and streaming this fall. Mitch, you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is. If you all of a sudden I'm gone for a couple hours, I look down and I have like 4 missed calls from John Fredericks, and I'm like, what is going on today? So this was a few weeks ago. So all of a sudden he pitches the idea. He's like, hey, I'm thinking about just doing a 2-hour pregame show. Would you be involved? And I was like, absolutely. And we tried to come up with the premise of it. The first and foremost was getting everybody from WVSportsNation.com involved in it, and it kind of piggybacks. For those of you that don't listen to the Godzilla Win Show on Saturday, it's kind of piggybacking off of that a little bit. It's going to run into a lot of their airtime, honestly, because it's going to overlap a lot of that, because 10 to 12 is going to be when the show is. But so we started to brainstorm some ideas behind it, and there's the official pregame show that all of us, especially West Virginia fans growing up, or if you've been a student, we know who it is. That their pregame show is pretty good, but it is what it is. It's in the studio. It's prim and proper. It's ready to go. So we just decided, like, hey, let's go the opposite and just make it a tailgate. And when I was at school in 97 to 2001, when I started there was the legendary tailgate area called the Pit. The Pit was then kind of taken away from us. Hardesty and everybody kind of cracked down on it. And then all of a sudden we brought it back. It was kind of paved and stuff. But tailgating is a tradition in Morgantown. If you've been there, it's the most fun part of the game, especially in the last few years. Without, we're trusting a climb that doesn't work. The best part of the game has been the tailgate. So we're just going to just try to have fun. Sports is fun, right? So 2 hours, bring in all you guys. I'm going to need help every week. I'm going to need co-hosts sometimes because Santana's going to be helping. Santana's going to be with me the first few weeks. And then, but you all have responsibilities at the game, which is great. So we're going to do it as a tailgate, but also with credibility, right? I mean, we have writers on the scene. We have beat writers covering the game. We have people in the tailgate lot, and it's going to be a ton of fun. I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, this is this is probably one of our biggest moves since we've become a bit of an establishment here in our young years as a company. And I do want to say, I mean, it is going to be a crazy time. And for those interested, September 5th is going to be our first official show. Of course, that's the home opener against Coastal Carolina. Here's a couple places you can hear it on the airwaves. WZST, which is FM 100.9 and 95.3 in Morgantown. WZST AM 20 and 95.7 Morgantown. WRLF FM 94.3 in Fairmont. WRLF AM 1490 and 98.3 Fairmont. And WHTI 105.7 in Clarksburg. Plus, you'll have all of our normal game day coverage. We'll have people there. And it's going to be a heck of a time. Plus, we're going to be streaming it, which on the John Frederick Media Network app, which is on your Roku, wherever you want to find that. And we'll have it streaming like this is now. So, again, a huge way to break into the multimedia platform. We're going to try and get some beat reporters from the opposing school. I'm trying to get some guys from Coastal Carolina to hop on the first week. Yeah. So that should be a whole lot of fun. But keep an eye out on that. We're going to have a bit of a trial run too, but that's more just, working out the kinks. So again, Mountaineer Tailgate, that's coming out. Our pregame show debuts September 5th at 10 a.m. with a noon kickoff. So next, speaking of football, Quinn, you're our guy this fall. You'll be all the home games, and you're following fall camp right now, probably closer than most of us. Talk about, we've got a few practices in the book. You've written up a few things. You got Kevin Brown. You got all the storylines. What has stood out so far? It's only been, 3 days? What's standing out so far on the football side of things?
Yeah, I think kind of what you mentioned was Kevin Brown, right? I think that's the biggest story that we're going to take away so far is true freshman's going to come in. And according to both Trickett's and Rich Rod, that, he's got a chance to start. And so I think that's important because you're going to see this foundation that Rich Rod's trying to build, right? And so the fact that they're already talking his praises and we're August 9th, we're just a little bit of removed from a month away from the kickoff of game one. I think that's huge. And obviously, and I've written about this and I've been very repetitive when saying this, but quarterback is a big thing that we're watching because when it comes to Rich Rod's offense, the quarterback is the most important position. It's the most important position in football, but when it's Rich Rod's offense, it is by far the most important. And so I think that's what you're looking for. Is it Scotty Fox? Is it Michael Hawkins? Is it some of the other guys that we've seen too? Like, you don't know. And so there's a lot of different storylines coming in, but I think the biggest one is either going to be the quarterback battle or Kevin Brown, because last year's offensive line was depleted, right? And now you look at an offensive line where they went into the transfer portal, got new guys, but they're not new to college football. These are guys who have played a lot of snaps at other places, guys that have done the work, put in the work. And so I think it's really important that it's coming down to the offensive side, because I don't think any of us are too worried about Zach Alley's defense, because every single year that he is coached, it has been very good. And even last year, we saw in some of these games, the BYU game, the defense kept West Virginia in that game. West Virginia was one score away from winning at BYU. And so no one's really talking about the defense, and that's because I think everybody has trust in Zach Alley because his is the same defense every year, and we see it put up numbers. But I think those are the big storylines when you look at it. I think it's going to be interesting when we get further into camp. There at some point should be an open practice. And so it's going to be interesting to see who's taking these reps and those different things.
Quinn, and just real quick, Quinn, do you know, like, when they poach a recruit from like a big time school like Kevin was done, are there promises made like, hey, you're going to have a real good chance to start this year? Like, I mean, do you know behind the scenes how that works? Because it feels like he's going to be given every opportunity.
I think you're right. I think he's definitely going to be given every opportunity. I'm sure that was what was said was, hey, you're going to come here. You're going to have a chance to start. You're going to have a chance to play. And even if he doesn't start, he's going to play, and I think that was kind of like the thing to him was like, he knows what he's going to get out of Rich Rod. His dad played here. He knows what it's like to play here. And I think that was kind of the thing of like, he knows what he can get here and where it can take him. And I think that's kind of the thing of Rich Rod was like, hey, if you come here, you're going to have a chance to play. You're going to have a chance to be, a 4-year guy here. And you also look at it, and it wasn't under his regime, but look at Zach Frazier. They were talking on Pittsburgh radio the other day as I was driving to work on 93.7 The Fan about talking about future Hall of Famer and Zach Frazier. Like, that was built in West Virginia. So it's like they can build things. And I think that was kind of probably thrown at him. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure that there was some talk of like, hey, you're going to play here. You're going to have a legit chance to play.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead, Trent.
And you talked about his dad playing under Rich Rod early in the 2000s. I wrote the article when he first got recruited. He played both ways in high school, and as soon as his season was over, he started putting on weight so he could play offensive line for the Mountaineers. So his dad has been very regimented with Kevin's, just weight gain, just the whole process, his training process. And I think another thing that's overlooked is Rick Trickett being the offensive line coach and helping bring Kevin here. Because who wouldn't want to learn from Rick Trickett as a young 18-year-old freshman coming into, D1 football?
Yeah, there's few guys with that amount of experience that Trickett has. And I like that they've kind of kept a leash on Brown so far. Quinn, you put one of the quotes in, at least I believe you put it in there, or if not, I heard it in the transcript about, you guys throw around the word great a lot. And he was like, let's calm down a little bit. And I think that's good. I think it keeps Brown humble, but let's be real. I mean, there's a good chance he's starting day one. But that's far and away. I think that in the QB battle, and I know QB battle is always one of the top storylines every summer, but it's 2 years in a row now under Rich Rod that it's been this wide range. At least we have like 2 front runners now. Last year was right. Nico's here, but also it's free roam.
Yeah, you still had part of the climb involved.
And I think you looking at the quarterback situation, you turn it to the same question that Mitch asked me was like, was there some guarantees? We don't know. Was there guarantees to Michael Hawkins? Like, we don't know. His brother's here too. So like, you don't know what's going to happen. And here's the thing. I can see this too. I have always, when I first started getting into college football, I remember watching Jake Fromm and Justin Fields at Georgia, where they would have Jake Fromm get them down to the red zone. And then it was Justin Fields, and Justin Fields is taking off and running. That could be the possibility because we've seen Scotty Fox's arm. We saw it in flashes. He can throw. Both of these guys can throw, but you got to think Scotty can probably throw a little more because Michael can run a little more. So maybe you see a little bit of 2 quarterback action. And Rich Rod has said that he's not scared to do that he's not scared to have one side of the playbook for one quarterback and the other side for another quarterback. So I think you could see both there too.
Scotty's got some wheels too.
He does. Yeah. He had that breakaway in game number 1 last year, right down the sideline. And I mean, either of these guys, I think you can win. I mean, heck, Scotty got you your first top 25 road victory in an X amount of years. Like, both these guys can win.
Yeah, it should make for an interesting rest of fall camp. Of course, we'll be following that leading up to that home opener against Coastal Carolina September 5th. Do want to change to a different field for now, and that's where I'll bring in Logan, Brendan, and Trent. Soccer is kicking off the athletic year, and the women's soccer gets its first official game Thursday against Dayton at home. And again, this is a 30th anniversary season for women's soccer. So both teams have some high expectations. Both are in the United States coaches polls, top 25, women's soccer in at 20, men's soccer in at 23. We can start with women's soccer since they go first. Trent, if you want to start us out, what are your expectations for the season, and more so actually just for Thursday? What are you looking for first impressions?
Yeah, I think all 30 seasons have been under Nikki Brown, so I'd expect another winning season. I think she's had one losing season in her tenure, which is very impressive, and it's also very impressive that she's been here for as long, and really built this program from the ground up. She's got two players going into WVU Sports Hall of Fame in the fall, and two Olympic gold medalists from the Canadian national team in 2020. So, she's seen it all, coached some of the best players to ever come through this program. And for what I'm looking for Thursday is really who's going to step up, because they lost their leading point scorer last year, but they are bringing back a lot of minutes. So I guess we'll have to see who steps into that role of scorer. Is the best way to put it.
Yeah, go ahead, Logan.
No, I was just going to piggyback off of Trent. When you're looking at this women's team, yeah, they lost, their leader, but they also returned a lot of really good players. And when you look at the Big 12 ball preseason team, you have three Mountaineers on there, and the one I'm looking at is Anna Auer, midfielder. She returns. I think she's really going to step up this year and be that leading catalyst for the Mountaineers this season. And overall, Mountaineers are coming off a pretty good season. They had a couple of down years previously, but they're coming off a really good year last year, and they come into the Big 12 ranked third in the preseason poll. TCU's number one, so definitely a team to watch out for. They were number one by a landslide, so definitely a team to watch out for. But I think the Mountaineers are going to kind of continue and rising above and continuing their excellence in the soccer realm. I think the women's team has always been really good, and Nikki Brown, great coach. She's represented the United States at the national level. Trent mentioned players representative of different teams like Canada. I think the women's team is going to have a good year this year, and I'm really keeping an eye on Ann Auer to lead this team and be one of the better players in the Big 12.
Very well. I think men's soccer too. Flipping over again, women's soccer has proven it's an elite program. It hasn't gotten to that mountaintop yet, but they're hardly ever not great. So they're doing something right. Again, they play their first home game at 7:00 on Thursday against University of Dayton. We'll have coverage on that, of course. Men's soccer a little later. They've already played some exhibition play. They have two more coming up. Let's see. Tuesday they play WVU Tech at home, and then Friday they have a rematch against number 5 Georgetown. That's out in DC. That should be a fun one. Again, those don't count, but men's soccer kicks off officially August 20th. They'll be playing at Charlotte. That should be a fun matchup. But now remember, they're in the Sun Belt Conference, not the Big 12. The Big 12 doesn't sponsor men's soccer. And in that note, of course, we know who else is in the conference. And it's always a bloodbath down to the wire. These guys always end up Marshall and WVU, the Mountain State Derby. It makes for the best college soccer matchup. Who would think that West Virginia is the college soccer capital of the world? It's nuts, actually. But
Jonathan, who do you root for in those games?
I plead the fifth on that.
Well, and you got to think UC too.
Oh,
UC
yeah.
is who put both of these coaches at these locations. So UC is they're the root of this tree.
Absolutely. And it's nuts. But back to that though, the Sun Belt, let's look for a second, because WVU men's soccer comes in ranked 23rd. Marshall comes in at 17th or 16th. I'll have to double check that. But in the Sun Belt preseason polls, WVU's picked over Marshall to win They're the preseason favorites to win the conference. What do you guys see? Even, I mean, just for the season in general, but also, I mean, we got to look toward that midseason matchup. That's going to obviously play a factor, and we know for a fact they will play again in the conference tournament. And if not, that I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team. They've had three straight trips, to the NCAA tournament, and also had a Sun Belt title in 2024. I'm one that's maybe a little newer to the college soccer scene. I just started paying attention to it maybe a year ago, shortly after I started working for WV Sports Nation. But I always pull for the two WVU teams when they're playing, and they seem to be pretty successful every year. We talked about the women's soccer team and their success over the last 30 years, and how Coach Izzo Brown has done during her very long tenure with the team. But I expect both teams to be very successful, particularly the men's. I mean, they had a lot of players last year that were represented the all Sun Belt Conference first team. So both these programs seem to have success year after year. So I think it's going to be another fun year for both soccer programs.
Jonathan, is there a reason for the all jokes aside, is there a reason for the West Virginia? I mean, I started to, again, I wasn't huge into soccer coverage until about a year and a half, 2 years ago, once we started this. But I've noticed that it feels like our team in Marshall also gets a lot of players from out of the country.
Yes, they can recruit internationally, and they are good at it.
Yeah.
They have a lot of support from the athletic departments. Both are super bought in on soccer because, I think they just see a priority in it. And that's something I think especially that Ren Baker's done, at least on the WVU side of things, is these are both really good programs on the men's and women's side. But now you have more resources going to it, and it's starting to pay dividends. You have great coaching. That's a big thing.
Yes.
Nice. But you have great coaching. That starts with that will grab guys from anywhere. I mean, they're international coaches, first of all, so you can get the international front there.
And when you have a successful history, sorry, Jonathan, but when you have a successful history like both of these programs seem to have, I mean, that would attract more people from around the country to want to come play here, I would imagine, too.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about it, the Sun Belt is probably it is the most, on the men's side, is the most competitive conference. I mean, between UCF, Marshall, WVU, and then JMU hangs in around there. UK is usually pretty good. South Carolina can be good. A lot of those teams are really, really solid. It's attractive.
And you want to talk about the buy-in, Jonathan, like you mentioned. It was less than a year ago, but coming up on a year ago, WVU completely replaced the pitch in the middle of the season. You want to talk about the money that used, just everything that goes into that. If the team isn't bringing in revenue for an athletic department, that's not going to happen. Right. They're not going to do that. And so, and Marshall has a turf surface, so for them, it's not a problem. But West Virginia has a very nice grass pitch, and so for them to go up and replace it in the middle of the year, WVU actually had to cancel the game for it to do that. They ended up traveling to California again to go pick up some games out there. But talk about the support there is that Ren Baker said, yeah, okay, do you think the playing surface is an issue? I'll replace it for you. That's not every athletic director is going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you see that on the –
You got to be good to make that happen and generate money.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, back to Ren for a second. I mean, look what – if you haven't seen or heard about the over at the Hope Coliseum, they said, oh, we don't like the bricks outside. Let's tear them up and put down some new ones. That shows how dedicated Ren and President Benson are. But a lot to look forward to on the soccer front as well. Quick shouts as well before we get into the August schedule, because it is jam-packed for what's left of it. Volleyball kicks off or tips off, whatever you want to say. August 22nd, they added a game. It was originally supposed to open the season August 28th. Now they open at JMU August 22nd. That should be fun. Jen Greeny starting to rebuild this program. Had that big upset against BYU last year. Still working their way up, but it should be an exciting season. They get 2 home tournaments this year. That's a big deal. And then over on the golf side, I mean, you had they won 3 tournaments last year. They'll get to defend all 3 of those throughout the season. They kick off August 31st at the New York Harbor Cup, and that should make for some entertaining sports to round out the August schedule. And with that, I'll go ahead and run down these if you need to mark your calendars. We'll go ahead and start, not counting exhibitions. Women's soccer kicks it off August 13th at Thursday, 7 o'clock. Men's soccer August 20th at Charlotte. Women's soccer at home against Penn State. Keep an eye on that one. That Penn State always gets the better of WVU on the women's front. Could be different this year, playing at home. Volleyball kicks off the season away at James Madison out in Harrisonburg, August 22nd. August 23rd, when we're getting a run here, women's soccer has Duquesne at home. They travel down from Pittsburgh. St. Bonaventure comes to face men's soccer August 24th at home in Morgantown. Women's soccer hits the road to play Princeton, some Ivy League action August 27th. Doubleheader on August 28th. That should be fun. Volleyball starts its home stint that day, and men's soccer is on the road that day, but they play the same day, August 28th. Same thing on August 30th. Volleyball's at home, and women's soccer is on the road at Army, so they can head up to West Point. And then to round out the season, the month, day 1 of the New York Harbor Cup, August 31st. So plenty of action before we get into September when the wheels really fall off and we're full-blown.
Happens in September.
We get football and
There's
then
a big
basketball.
football, I think it is.
But I'm telling you what, no pressure on all these teams playing in August right now. I mean, all you had was the baseball team and Country Roads take the country by storm. We got to keep that momentum alive. Hopefully, they're bringing
All of that one up.
Right. Hopefully,
I mean,
Country Road is queued up in every visiting stadium as well.
It's weird because this isn't even playing like just finding moral victories. This is the hottest this athletic department has been in a long time.
It is.
Take away a bad season for football last year. Ever since then, everything has been, and we've talked about it in the summer special. It's just been nonstop. If they don't win a conference, they pick up a random tournament win. If they don't, they're maybe not getting as much money as Texas Tech, but they're tripling their philanthropy records from years ago. It's crazy. So don't think about other programs, WVU fans out there, whoever you may be watching. I mean, this is growth as a program, really on the rise. Everyone's invested, and that's something that you can really look forward to. But before we head off of here, go ahead.
I just wanted to go along that and mention that there was a press release that was sent out by the athletic department that the Mountaineer Athletic Club raised in the whole fiscal year $111 million.
Yep, John Bogus got that one.
Fiscal year. And then not to mention the Championship Resource Fund was $5 million. And then not to mention the other partnerships, the jersey patch that was just announced, the Hope Coliseum, and like $111 million. When I saw that email, I was sitting at work. I sat there and stared at the email because it did not seem real. Because Jonathan, your point, what you just said, this is the hottest WVU athletics has been. And
we're national news all the time.
Yeah, like
especially McAfee. He was at the Hall of Fame with the West Virginia hat on yesterday.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Like I saw a tweet that said, "There's not anybody that's better for this university than Pat McAfee." And even he went and did his show it was Bristol, Connecticut. He did it at the ESPN headquarters. What's to his left on his desk? A WVU football helmet. Yeah. Like $111 million, and Pat McAfee. This is the hottest that this athletic program, this athletic department has been, and it's only going to continue.
Yeah, the pressure's on as the fall.
Well, it's just nice that they've got with the times right away. There was no reluctance, because it reminds me. I was going to make parallel just to try to bring up, because Beeline is getting into the Hall of Fame, but it reminds me of that era. Rich Rod, year 2 or 3, Beeline comes in all of a sudden, the Nealon and Gail Catlett era, and it's kind of the old guard, and then the new guard comes in, and I mean, it was the most exciting time for 5 or 6 years, and it feels like we're in the midst of that. but with all different circumstances. I mean, nil and transfer portals and money, $27.5 million and $111 million. It's mind-boggling, but I'm glad that we're on the cutting edge of this, and it's refreshing.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's time we go around one more time. Top expectations for the month of August before we head back to school. We'll start with Brendan and go around the horn.
Soccer team's going to kick ass right before we roll into a great football season, guys.
Hey, it's all right. We'll be fine.
Oh, so I got to follow that.
Yeah. FCC
So
friendly.
Oh, my bad.
No.
I got to follow that up.
That is technically okay.
Man, really, I got to follow
You're
that
allowed
up.
to say ass. Calm down.
No, you can't listen.
Have you been on John Fredericks when you're live on air?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Listen, my last job was radio. It's all I had to deal with. I'm just glad that, I can now just be on the talking side of things and I'm not on the administrative side of things. Logan knows that literally almost killed me. But I think that these soccer teams, personally, I love Nikki Izzo-Brown. My relationship with Nikki Izzo-Brown is something that it's not anywhere else. Like, she is, every time I see her, it's always a smile and, hey, how are you? How have you been? How's your classes going? I am a full supporter of that soccer program. And then there's Dan Stratford, who has just done incredible things. I think he's going to continue. I think you mentioned, Jonathan, they're going to go to Georgetown for an exhibition. Georgetown's an NCAA tournament team a year ago, and they're just playing them in an exhibition, not even in the regular season.
They come in ranked
scrimmage.
Yeah. They're coming in number 5. WVU's number 23.
Yeah, that's who we're gonna scrimmage. Dan Stratford knows what he's doing. I think these teams are gonna go through August. I think, like you mentioned, Penn State is gonna be tough for the women's team, but I think both of these teams are gonna go undefeated in the month of August and set themselves up for a really, really exciting September season.
Yeah. Trent?
Yeah, my expectations are high for the ground game of the Mountaineers this year, the Mountaineers offense. We talked about the offensive line. We talked about Rick Trickett, which another thing I want to add on him is he coached Cam Cook last year, coached the line in Jacksonville State, so he knows what Cam Cook needs to succeed. Caden Luke, fullback transfer from Arizona.
This guy is awesome.
Led the way for, I think they ran for almost 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns at Arizona last year. The running back had 6.4 yards per carry. It was top 10 in the nation. I think Rich Rod's going to get back to some old school football this year, and they're going to run the ball down people's throats.
Very good. Mitch?
I know I wanted to steer clear from football, but it's just too hard. We're just so close. We're just so close. But yeah, but keeping it in August, I just want to see how some of these camp battles work out. Who we're going to get on the edge rushers as well, because I know we're not talking about the defense a lot of times, and that's because in the first in Rich Rod 1.0. It was a 3-3-5, bend but don't break. We kind of just, if they only allowed 24 points, we were still going to win most games. Defense is going to be a little bit more important this time around. So the camp battles around the defense, because we're gonna write about the offense. We know that. The ones around the defense is what I'm really looking at, because I think we're going to need the defense to step up a little bit more for the Rich Rod 2.0 to be able to be successful.
Yeah. Logan, you're the person that knows the defense about as good as anyone as we've been going through these positions.
I think I just read all his stuff. That's what I'm just regurgitating.
Hey, well, there you go. Logan, what's your expectations around the whole athletic department this month?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet because my MacBook's about to die. I think that the volleyball team is going to continue to rise. I think Jen Greeny, I think she's going to continue to put this team in the right direction. I'm excited for golf. They had a great year last year. I think they're going to continue to kind of shock the golf world. I mean, West Virginia golf was not a thing 15 years ago, 15, 17 years ago. And now they're at the point where they're kind of entering that conversation as one of the, upper echelon of golf teams. So, and then for football, I think it's going to be a better year than last year. The offensive line looks more stable. Got some good transfers from Jacksonville State. Got some very experienced guys on that. And then the defense is filled with a lot of experience. I'm really excited for his linebacker room. Guys like Ben Cutter, Malachi Hood from Illinois. I think they're going to be good. And yeah, I expect a lot of development, a lot of growth from this football team this year in year 2 of Rich Rod. With that, that's it for me because my about to die.
Good mic drop. Good mic
I would
drop,
just
Logan. That's
say
Logan
real
Powell.
quick.
He's one of our staff writers.
There you
I
go.
would, I would just like to say real quick, I love how everyone else's answers was like this deep analysis, and I gave my stupid quick answer at the beginning.
Hey.
I was just looking for something quick and snappy. I thought that's what we were looking for, and everybody went into like this deep thought. Like
We have a side text without you on there. We set you up.
It's
yeah,
about
I seen that.
Love you to death, kid. But I'm gonna hop off here. It's about to die.
all right.
Have a good
See
night.
ya. See ya.
And that's about as positive as Logan gets, man. I guess he didn't come out and say we're only going to win 6 or 7 like he's told us.
I know, right? He literally, he has been like that. He's been like that. He was at the radio station with me last year, the student radio station. And he was like that. They're only going to win 5 games. But I think Logan has a point. I think they're going to be better than last year. I think that's kind of evident. I didn't know we were going to talk about football. Jonathan said August, so I didn't even touch on football.
Well,
That's where I was at. I had
Once
I had-
Trent went there, I went in.
well, I'm new to soccer. I'm like, I can't offer like much analysis in this. I'm like, they're gonna do great, then we're gonna be even better in football. There we go.
I think harbor expectations for football, but if there isn't vast improvement, then we have real problems. But it's starting to come to fruition. But none of that matters when September 5th rolls around. So be sure, got the Mountaineer tailgate launching 10 a.m. September 5th on the John Fredericks Media Network. Anywhere you can find that. Plus, we have everything on the website, WVSportsNation.com. You can find us on Twitter, Reels, Facebook, pretty much anywhere. YouTube, we're really trying to launch that. Trent's been doing a fantastic job along with Santana. John Bogus, also one of our writers, not with us. Boo to that. He's got plenty of stuff going on the website, too. We got Around the Farm. If you still need your baseball fix, we're still talking about it through September, through minor league, because we still have – hey, I know Quinn doesn't, but, hey, we have people that are –
I work in baseball right now, so I'm ready to be done.
Yeah. So still plenty to look forward to. Again, you can find us in all the places we just mentioned. So for Brendan Statler, Quinn Roby, Trent Connor, Mitch Rogers, Logan Powell, and John Bogus, and all the John Fredericks Media Network crew for WV Sports Nation, I'm Jonathan Edwards, and we will see you next time. It's almost football season.